Joining us this morning on McIsaac on Sports, very happy to be joined by the man who is, I guess, the creator of the website Deadspin.com way back in 2005. He's actually been gone from there longer than he was there, believe it or not. And now he is going to become the senior writer of SportsOnEarth.com, which is an excellent website. Will Leitch. Will, thank you so much for joining us on McIsaac on Sports.
Well, of course. Thanks for having me. It's my pleasure.
And you are the senior writer. Does that mean you have to write about things that, the not understanding websites and things like that, or how does that work?
Yeah. I write about old people things. Yes, I guess I have an AARP press card. No, I think the idea is, there's a lot of great writers at the site. The nice thing about Sports Center, it's half owned by USA Today and half owned by Major League Baseball.
Right.
So they've got some backers with them who are really devoted to kind of having a smart site that covers sports in a different kind of way, and that's kind of in my strike zone a little bit. So yeah, it'll be fun. I'm going to be writing a daily column, and I'll be doing a daily podcast. So, but for those listening to me now, the writing, you don't actually have to listen to that part. So I'm better at that than I am at the talking.
Now, have you got? I mean, as you've gotten more, I don't want to say famous, but more well known, you've appeared more and more media. And at first, it seemed like you were a little uncomfortable doing stuff like that. Have you now found your wheelhouse when it comes to podcasts and being on TV shows and stuff like that, or?
It's not my strength. So I've tried to get better at it. Certainly, if you were to tried me in 2005, I was a stuttering, stammering fool, even worse than I am now. But certainly, I've tried to get better at it. But for me, writing is my strength. Long before Deadspin started, I was writing 2,000 words every day, even for no one, being paid by no one. So writing will always. As with everything in anything, whether it's sports or media, it's all about reps.
Yeah.
I have a lot more reps writing than I do on talking, but I'm working on it.
That's remarkably what I tell everybody. I also do play-by-play here for high school sports, and people say, "Why do you do 4 games a week?" I'm like, "Well, how am I supposed to get better if I'm not doing it?"
That's exactly right. Everything is about reps.
How can I yell at I can only yell at my PlayStation for so many hours a day before my wife divorces me. So, but so you are the author of 4 books, the most recent of which is "Are We Winning?" and that's mostly about. I haven't had a chance to read it, so can you talk just for a second about what that book's about?
Yeah, it's about the connection of baseball and fatherhood. It's based on one game at Wrigley Field between my beloved St. Louis Cardinals and the Chicago Cubs. And it kind of the idea is it looks at one baseball game and how one baseball game can stand in for all of baseball in general, and how we kind of connect with our fathers and our parents, really, basically our family. Through baseball, so that was the last one we did. I'm working on another one now, but that was the last book we did, and I was very happy with that one. I think anytime that you can write, about baseball. I'm a father now. I was not a father when I wrote the book, so I'm a little afraid to go back and look and see how naive I sounded. but certainly, we're very proud of that book. I was very happy to have it come out.
And that kind of leads me to my next question, because you're a huge St. Louis Cardinals fan, and you're probably the biggest Cardinals fan I know. Well, not that we know each other. We don't hang out and and drink beers, but that I know of. But of course, we're in Red Sox country. I understand that fans across the country hate Red Sox fans, and you know what? Most of the time, rightfully so, because we're obnoxious and we're loud and crass and uninformed most of the time. Is that the general feeling about Red Sox fans across Major League Baseball's other cities or other fandoms?
I think certainly Cardinal fans, we're still a little sore at you for 2004.
Really?
Yeah, because not angrily so, but people forget. One of the things that's been very frustrating for Cardinals fans the last few years, because the Cardinals have won 2 World Series in 06 and 11, but you always hear these. Well, they weren't. That 06 team wasn't very good. They only won 83 games, and that 2011 team only got lucky. But and I guess I suppose that's true. There were teams with better records and so on. But the thing that was nice about 04, that was our best team.
Right.
Like that was our great team, and you guys just kind of came in and wiped us out. Nobody cared.
The tragedy of that is the Cardinals and the Astros played probably one of the greatest 7-game series of all time.
Yeah, and nobody saw it.
And nobody saw a pitch of it because the Red Sox and Yankees were busy having also one of the greatest 7-game series of all time. So it's
those games were all on like FX before FX was good. So it was just like all these random and I remember because I was in New York during that, and I was actually at game about to go to Game 7 of the Yankees Red Sox series that year, and I was watching right before that game was when Jim Edmonds hit a home run in Game 6 in the Cardinals in Game 7 in the 12th inning. But nobody cared about that at all. Like, this is amazing, dramatic series, full of so many great moments, and just nobody remembered, nobody cared. And in retrospect, I don't really mind because we're not as mad about that. I found that Red Sox fans tend to actually be, anecdotally, okay with the Cardinals a little bit because, after the Red Sox won in 2004, in like the 7th inning when it was clear the Red Sox were going to win, and there were all these Red Sox fans that had made the pilgrimage to Busch Stadium to be there for that, the Cardinals fans the Cardinals let them all in for free. And come in. So I've gone to Fenway with my family all wearing our Cardinal stuff. I'd say they've been very warm and welcoming us for that reason. I think it's still kind of remembered. So we're glad that you like us. I'll say that we dislike the Yankees more than you.
Really?
We dislike the Cubs. Oh yeah.
I don't know about that. I'll take the Pepsi challenge.
I don't know if all of baseball does, but certainly Cardinal fans do because I think that the Yankees still represent something. They still represent. The Yankees have never been the underdog. There was a brief moment where the Red Sox were the underdog, and that can be appreciated. But don't worry, we hate the Cubs more than both.
Okay.
So don't worry about that.
Well, that's good to hear. We're speaking with Will Leitch. He will be the senior writer for SportsOnEarth.com. You know him from 1,000 different places. Getting back to Sports on Earth a little bit, it seems like that is what. If I can really use a terrible metaphor that probably won't make sense, it seems like Sports on Earth is what Deadspin would be if it ever got through puberty. Does that make any sense?
Well, I think I don't know. I think Deadspin may have a beard now, but certainly I understand the notion. Certainly, it's the same kind of mindset. I think that Sports on Earth, I think inherently is a little bit more. Deadspin is an outsider site by design. Right. It was never really. You'll see a lot more people in the press box. Not me, but you'll see a lot more people in the press box with Sports Center than you would see for Deadspin. But certainly, it's the same kind of idea. You're writing about sports in a different way. I feel like a lot of the regular coverage of sports it's often done by people. I mean, come on, you've met people that work in sports. A lot of times they don't seem to like sports very much.
Oh God, yeah, even Yeah, it amazes me. It's like, why are you a sports writer if you seem to hate everything you do? Everything you do, you hate. Why are you doing it?
Yeah, it's very strange, and it's something that I discovered frankly pretty early on in my career. How I was covering University of Illinois basketball games for the Daily Illini. I just discovered how much everyone seemed to hate their jobs. I was like, well, I wanted to do this, and I think that was one of the reasons I didn't work in sports for a long time. And one of the reasons I started Deadspin was I wanted to write about sports the way that I liked. Right. The way I like sports, and the way that allowed me to continue to like sports. So hopefully Deadspin allowed that to happen. And Deadspin, one of the great things about it, it's still in fantastic hands. I left in 2008, and AJ DeLore took over, and now it's Tommy Craig running it, and I think it's better than it's ever been. I'm certainly, it benefits me to have it still thriving like that, so I'm pretty excited that it's still doing well.
I actually get upset that Tommy Craig doesn't write more for the site, because I'm just a huge fan of everything he writes. I just devour, so I'd like him to write more on there. I'm sure he listens to the show every day like everybody else does. But
Tommy, I agree. I wish Tommy wrote more too, but it's worth noting that like every story has his fingerprint on it. I think obviously the big story of Manti Te'o that they broke, that was Tommy's story. Like Tommy didn't have a byline on that because that story has Tommy's fingerprints on every single word. Tommy is a terrific editor and a wonderful writer. And he's one of those guys that one of the things I think is very telling about Deadspin now. Tommy is the real deal. Like I honestly think he is as talented as anyone that works in this industry, if not more so. I think he is talent to burn, and he turned down a job at Grantland. He turned down a job at Sports Illustrated. He wants to work at Deadspin because it gives him the freedom and to tackle stories in a way that's different than everybody else. And I think I wouldn't surprise me if he does that job for 15 years. I think that tells you a little bit about the sports landscape.
Yeah, you're probably not going to see a Drew McGarry column on SportsIllustrated.com anytime soon. So he gets
probably better for both Drew and Sports Illustrated, yes.
All right, we're speaking with Will Leitch from Sports on Earth, the founder of Deadspin way back in 2005. Now, I wanted to ask you about this. You also write movie reviews that appear on Gawker and on Deadspin. Is that just something you do for fun? Because you really seem to enjoy it, and it's fun to get the way you write movie reviews. I enjoy because it's different than other people do it.
Yeah, it's definitely my hobby. It's definitely my fun little side project. One of the reasons I went to the University of Illinois because I grew up really admiring Roger Ebert, who was, of course, from Siskel and Ebert for years and years. And he was he was from a small Illinois town like me, so I grew to really adore his stuff. And writing about movies for me, that's what I perhaps this is something compulsive about me as a person. But I need to be writing all the time.
Yeah.
So writing about movies for me is that's my vacation. That's like my fun part. It's the thing I get to relax a little bit with. So I love being able to do it. I have and Deadspin allows me to be. It's the only association I have with Deadspin anymore. I don't cover any sports with him. I'm friends, obviously, with Tommy and some other people there, but certainly I have no official capacity with the site, but they do indulge me by letting me write my reviews, and I'm very grateful for them to that.
Although you do fill in for Drew's Jamboree once a year, don't you?
Oh, yeah, I do that. As a tradition, I do fill in for that once a year, which is always fun because I feel like that's like one stretch back into. I try not to comment, generally speaking, on a lot of whenever Deadspin would do a story that people would disagree with, because after the Manti Te'o story, everybody loved Deadspin.
Right.
But there have been plenty of times where Deadspin will do something like, "Oh, there goes terrible Deadspin, boo, hit."
Are you the first?
I've really tried.
I was going to say, are you the first guy they call when, because I think your name is most familiar, most attached to Deadspin. Are you the first guy that gets a call when something comes out that they don't like, that the general media doesn't like a Deadspin?
That's without question. That's certainly still true. I should remind them that it's been almost 5 years.
Yes.
I don't run anymore, but I'm flattered. I'm flattered that I can still have any association with Deadspin at all. I really feel like they're doing great work. It's such a different site. When I was running it, it was me in my room filling a WordPress blog with HTML. I was just typing really fast all day. And now they have a staff of people. They all go into an office. They have staff meetings. It's a real enterprise now. In a way that's exciting, because I feel like the same ethos is still there. The idea that to me, the Manti Te'o story is an incredible example of that. People get caught up on the Te'o story. They get caught up in the notion that there's this kid that got catfished and all this stuff. But to me, that real story is about a failure of the sports media.
Exactly.
To question, to look. To take anything other than just a face value as this part of their normal, this guy's a hero or this guy's a choker kind of narratives, and to me that's what the real story of that was, and I think that's what Deadspin exists really to do. So that was what was exciting about the Manti Te'o story. I mean, that turned into Manti Te'o overcoming adversity.
Yes.
And it's into the same junk they always do.
The narrative to the backlash to the narrative, or I don't know, however
That's exactly
that goes.
Right.
All right, well, we're speaking with Will Leitch. Kind of have to take some time. I meant to talk way more about Sports on Earth. It took a right turn into Deadspin. That's my fault. That's a bad job out of me. But he will he'll become the senior writer.
I'll talk about all of it, man. It's my pleasure.
All right. Well, Will become the senior writer of Sports on Earth on 4/15. Is there some sort of ornate ceremony? Do you get in touch with the sword or something like that?
That would be. I hope maybe not a sword. It'd be awesome if they could feed me grapes and carry me on something. And,
yes.
And then I think what happens is I think they actually shoot blue smoke out of the black. It's like the Pope. It comes out. I think there's something like that. That would be very exciting. I think it would have to be red smoke.
I'll go a step further. It'll be disrespectful if they don't do that. All right, let's just put it out there.
Right? Yeah. I agree. I'm going to send them this interview and they'll be like, listen, this guy's right. It would be disrespectful.
Absolutely. So follow Will on Twitter at William F. Leitch, and it's Leitch, and look for his podcast coming up. Will that be the week of the 15th, or will that take a little while to get going?
Nope, should be running, assuming they get all the tech stuff right, should be ready to go on Monday the 15th.
All right, Will, thanks so much for joining us here on McIsaac on Sports. I hope you come back soon.
Of course. Thanks for having me.